So in this video, I decided to treat myself with a brand new $3,000 PC. The whole idea was simple. I just wanted something that could handle content creation, gaming, daily work, and even some 3D modeling without breaking a sweat. The funny thing is, I originally planned into getting a budget-friendly PC, but the deeper I went into researching parts, the more I kept finding little upgrades that just made sense. And before I knew it, yeah, $3,000 happened. So on the table you will see a lot of components that I ended up going with. Some of them I absolutely love, and some, well, in insight, I probably wouldn't have picked them again. So let's break it down and I'll show you what I went for. So I started with the Asus Prime B40 Plus Wi-Fi. And yes, my mindset at this time was to save money on motherboard, and sure, it works. And honestly, there were a lot better options for just a little bit. The heatsink isn't the best, and if you're pushing performance, you definitely feel that. Still, it got the job done for the price and I am super happy. And then I paired it with the Ryzen 9 9900 X3D, and this is where everything really jumped in price. Well, listen. This CPU is a monster. Like, we're talking about a super future-proof, handles multitasking like a champ, great for productivity and gaming, and also perfect for creators. I mean, I don't really think there's anything to complain about when you have something like this. And yes, I did think about getting the new shiny 9950 X3D, but honestly, this one is already plenty. But what I really enjoyed was the installation of this, because this was a no-brainer. I mean, everything just aligns, you drop it in, you close the latch, you remove the plastic cap, and then you are done. Nothing else to complain about. Like, this was just super smooth. And then as for the storage, I decided to slap in the 2TB Kingston PCIe 4.0 drive with 6000 mega transfer speed, super quick, easy to install. There was no drama here and it was just a great feeling. And then I also decided to add a 64GB of RAM. This is the Kingston Fury Beast. I mean, DDR5, 6000 mega transfer speed. Yes, there are a ton of RAM options out there, but these sticks were reliable, they are fast enough, and they do everything I want. So I felt like this were just perfect for the price and also quality that I literally need. And then came the PSU. Yes, this is where I decided to go for a Corsair RM850. I wanted to go for 1000 watts, but I didn't see any necessary argument to go for something that high. So a 850 was just super nice to go for. And then what I really like with these is that it's super straightforward, it's dependable, and honestly one of the best budget performance PSU you can actually grab. And one little thing I was just scared of was the infamous 12-pin GPU cable that sometimes melt when you use a cheap one. So if you can spend a little extra on a quality cable, yeah, it's actually worth it. I mean, you can find a better cable on Amazon for a cheap price if you actually look for them. But like, as for this build, I decided to go with the default one that came with the PSU as for now, until I decide to get something in the future. Now, as for the case, I decided to go with the Fractal North, not the XL, just the normal one, because I felt like I don't really have the space to put the XL because it's actually huge. So having the Fractal North case is just something that make everything super minimal, if that makes sense. So I decided to slide in the PSU in the back and mount it into the case. And then when all that is done, I put in the motherboard into the case and screw them in. And yes, I decided to mount the AIO fans, and it wasn't that hard, even though I had some cramp because I have huge hands. But like, mounting the fans was a little bit tight. And I also added a tiny grain of thermal paste on top of what it already had. And yes, I know, even though it already comes with some, please don't judge me. Then I decided to marinate everything down and just tighten everything up. Now as for the cooling, I decided to go for the NZXT Kraken. And yeah, I could have gone for the 360mm AIO, which would have been super good. But at the end of the day, the fractal node doesn't really support it, which meant I had to go for the 240 that comes with a tiny display to show temps. It looks super clean and performs so well. I mean, it does enough for the CPU. Now, when it comes down to the connectors on your PC, it's always good to know how and where to insert them. Yes, if you're new to this, it might be a lot confusing. Now, if you look at the front of your motherboard, you will find these front panel connectors. I mean, they control the power button, reset button, and a little LED in front of your case in case you have one of them. And these are labeled as PWR, SW, Reset, HDD, LED, PLED. And all you just need to do is just to plug them and just hope nothing breaks. Alright, so I was trying to plug everything in and I missed the fact that this CPU socket is supposed to go beneath the cooler right there. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. So now I need to take off the cooler, at least loosen it so I could fit this one before I tighten everything up again. So now, even though this was a quick fix, the fact that I had to go back to redo everything I just did was a pain in the ass. So next time, before you install anything, just make sure you double check and you find what is supposed to go in where, so you don't find yourself in these similar situations. Cable management, I mean, listen, let's not just talk about this. I mean, I tried my best, but I'm not just that guy. So it works, that's what all matters. And yeah, anyhow, I did connect all the fans from the AIO headers, the USB cables, CPU power, everything. And even though I had to undo and redo things once or twice, I mean, it's just a classic PC building life. Now, sliding the 5080 in was just pure joy. I mean, this GPU was honestly the highlight of the whole build, and the fractal node just opens nicely, so I gave myself an extra space, lined it up, clicked it in, perfect. And at that moment, the whole PC finally looked real. And 80% of you guys watching are not subscribing, so support a small channel. Thanks. Now, as soon as I was done installing the GPU, I started putting back the case, everything as you can see, adding some fans that I owned. But here I found a little problem which I didn't really like. Now with the fractal node case, you do get two fans and they are 140mm fans, just so you know. And the only problem I had is that this is 1700 RPM, which I don't feel was going to help me with airflow. So I decided to find something that I had at home, which is the Corsair with 3000 RPM. It gives me better flow into my GPU, so I don't really need to stress. But I'll just use this and this until I find something which is better. Well, as for now, I don't know what to do with this, but this is a savior. But the only problem I have with it is that it's an RGB, so you might see a little bit of blue light somewhere in this case, because I don't really want any RGB on this case. But as for now, this is just temporary. Now, once I was done, all I needed to do is just to peel off every single plastic on the case or on the AIO. As you can see, everything was just super brand new. And at this point, I was so happy and I just wanted to play some games. A moment of truth. Turning this on and it worked at first start was just a fantastic feeling. Now, time for airflow.